Welcome to This Explainer, where we're translating some really essential insights from the CXO Series Intelligence Hub into a direct board-level briefing. Look, if you're sitting in the C-suite right now, this is specifically for you. We're going to dive into exactly why cloud and AI infrastructure are no longer just, standard IT upgrades. They are fundamentally business continuity decisions. I want to start off with this thought. Migration is an activity, but maturity is a capability. For years, the corporate world measured success by how many apps they could just shove into the cloud. But moving workloads means absolutely nothing if it doesn't fundamentally strengthen your organization's ability to operate and compete. True maturity, that's a capability that directly impacts your bottom line. To understand how we actually build that capability, here is our roadmap for today. We'll be covering the new cloud mandate, the resilience reality check, reclaiming cost and control, AI's infrastructure prerequisites, and finally, the executive decision scorecard. Let's jump right into part one, the new cloud mandate. We really need to move beyond just the idea of migration. So, we're seeing this massive shift in strategy across the board. On one side, you have the old cloud-first model. This was all about speed, volume, and ditching those legacy servers as fast as humanly possible. But that model assumed perfect conditions, right? Perfect connectivity, perfect power. But real life isn't perfect. That's why mature enterprises are moving to cloud smart. This approach focuses heavily on business resilience, highly disciplined workload placement, and operational continuity. It demands real architectural judgment based on actual business value, which is absolutely crucial in complex operating environments like those we see across Africa. And going cloud smart means we have to completely redefine sovereignty. For the longest time, boards would just ask, hey, where's our data stored? But true sovereignty is the whole shebang. It encompasses jurisdiction, access control, auditability, and operational independence. The real questions you should be asking are, who controls our environment? What laws actually apply here? And what are our future options if we need to quickly pivot? Which brings us to our second point, the resilience reality check. It's time to face some hard operational realities. A mature cloud conversation is entirely workload-led. Think about it. You wouldn't manage every single employee the exact same way, right? So why do that with your workloads? A customer-facing app? Sure, put that in the public cloud, because you need that elasticity and speed. But a plant control system, that is incredibly latency sensitive. It requires total operational continuity, meaning it probably belongs on-premise or at the edge. And a payroll platform might need the strict regulatory compliance of a private cloud. It's all about matching specific business processes to the right environments based on their unique risk profiles. And you have to match them perfectly, because eventually you have to ask the hard question, what happens when the network fails? Let's be real. In regions where power instability, load shedding, and spotty connectivity are just facts of daily life, we have to know if our connectivity layer can actually sustain the business when conditions go south. Because, a network outage is almost never just an IT headache. It triggers a total cascade of business failures. For a retailer, it's failed card payments. For a manufacturer, production grinds to a halt. And here is the truly dangerous part. When systems go down, teams get desperate. They start bypassing security controls and creating manual workarounds, which completely skyrockets your cyber and operational risk. Network resilience isn't just about fancy routers. It is a core strategic capability, protecting your revenue and your brand's reputation. All right, let's move on to Section 3, reclaiming cost and control, because governance absolutely matters. In the early days, everyone fell in love with the cloud because it shifted CapEx to OpEx. But make no mistake, cost volatility is a massive board-level issue. Actually, scratch that. It's a make-or-break issue. While that consumption model gives you great flexibility, if you don't have super tight shared financial governance between your CIO and CFO, your cloud spend is going to snowball out of control before you even realize what hit you. You need extreme discipline to make sure a dozen small decisions by different teams don't turn into a giant financial sinkhole. On top of that, executives need to be hyper-aware of the hidden traps of architectural lock-in. Lock-in doesn't just happen because you signed a bad contract. It creeps in through seemingly innocent architectural decisions over time. When you rely too heavily on proprietary cloud-native services, or when your data gets so massive it becomes a victim of data gravity, making it wildly expensive to ever move, you are slowly bleeding out your strategic flexibility. The C-suite has to draw a line in the sand on where dependency is okay and where portability is mandatory. Now let's talk about the buzzword of the decade. Section 4, AI's infrastructure prerequisite. it's time to ground our ambitions. So here's the truth. AI does not begin with the algorithm. It begins with trustworthy data, resilient infrastructure, and clear decisions about control. This sums it up perfectly. Boards cannot just sit back and demand AI acceleration and flashy predictive models while totally ignoring the unsexy foundational work of data integration and network stability. If your network hiccups or your data is a mess, your AI will be useless. Simple as that. This all translates into a very practical, step-by-step roadmap. And listen, you literally cannot skip steps here. Successful AI needs a sequential path. Step 1, establish rock-solid connectivity. Step 2, implement rigorous cross-functional hybrid data governance. Only then, at step 3, can you deploy predictive AI that will actually give you reliable business value. Do not let the hype make you skip the foundation. Finally, let's wrap this up with Section 5, the Executive Decisions Scorecard, how we actually make these practical decisions. This is essentially your ultimate toolkit for every single technology investment moving forward. You need to run every potential move through these 5 filters. 1, is there clear business value? 2, do we have cost predictability? 3, what's our operational resilience, assuming conditions will degrade? 4, does it meet sovereignty and compliance needs? And 5, what are our exit or portability options? This makes sure your governance is an ongoing muscle, not just a dusty policy document, and keeps it tied directly to your ability to execute. I want to leave you with this final critical boardroom prompt. The next time you're evaluating a major technology decision, ask yourselves, are we actually building resilience, or are we just shifting our risk into a different operating model? Because at the end of the day, true cloud maturity isn't defined by how much data you manage to migrate. It's defined entirely by your strategic control. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this framework helps drive some great conversations in your next executive strategy session.